Somebody told me not to do this to Gypsy and her friend Bree, but I'm going to do it. And y'all might be mad at me for this one because it's so petty. I mean, petty with a capital Petty. But it's funny. And y'all gonna be mad. Okay, I'm warning y'all. Y'all gonna be mad. Are y'all ready for this? Because it's hella funny. Hella funny. But this is what happens when you ride for Gypsy Rose Blanchard with no damn seatbelt on.
I feel like something is.
Moral of the story is don't do rugs. It is never worth it. I don't care how much you want that friend. Don't do rugs. Gypsy Rose Blanchard is a narcissist that's trying to discourage the Menendez brothers. Get ready with me while I explain how. Apparently, TMZ reached out to Gypsy Rose Blanchard yesterday after the press conference for the Menendez brothers with the district attorney. Now, we all know the district attorney is going to go to court today, and he's trying to get them a sentence reduction from life with parole, without parole, to life with parole. Well, Gypsy Rose Blanchard said that the advice that she has is that the public will build them up as quick as they will tear them down. And here is the news article down below. Now, while I understand a lot of people are going to share these same sentiments, and they're going to kind of say, well, Gypsy's right because look at what she's been through. Those are people that really don't know Gypsy Rose's case. Gypsy Rose has a chromosome disorder. Now, it's called Q121.1. Now, this is the chromosome disorder that Gypsy Rose has. This is the poster child for it, and right next to the poster child is Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Now, you can't tell me that you don't think that they're twinsies. You all can look this up yourself, but the main thing that is important to note about this chromosome disorder is all of the things that her mom said that she had, excluding cancer, is a part of this chromosome disorder. Her mom used her issues and embellished them for financial gain, which is malingering. Gypsy Rose Blanchard also used a man that had autism or has autism with a low IQ, mental health issues, and he was collecting disability at the time of her mom's unaliving. He believed that he was helping her and protecting her when really she was just using him and she really was going to leave him and be with another man. And he thought he was protecting her. And that's why her mom was unalived. In spite of that, Gypsy Rose's biggest accomplishment in prison is getting her GED. And it took her 5 years to do so. One of the most visible differences to me about Gypsy Rose Blanchard and the Menendez brothers is the fact that the Menendez brothers aren't saying we're going to be advocates when we get out. They are advocating right now while they're in prison. And they've been advocating regardless of the fact that they knew or really believed that they had a bigger possibility of never getting out of prison. Meanwhile, Gypsy Rose only served 8 years in prison, and she has not done any prison reform. She has not done any advocacy. And anything that she has done to speak on abuse or anything like that has been solely for money. And the reality is Gypsy Rose wasn't really abused. She was very loved, and her mom did everything to take care of her. And yes, her mom was a con artist, but was she a bad mom? I don't believe so. Now, I'm pretty sure one would ask, Nina, what was the deciding factor for you for not trusting Gypsy Rose and realizing she really wasn't in it for the right reasons? And this was a changing moment for me. And this is what I want you guys to really pay attention to.
I don't associate myself as a murderer because if you think about it, yes, I had a part to play in it. I asked Nick for help. And how that conversation started was, he was saying that he would protect me from anyone. I said anyone. He said yes. I said even my mother. He said yes. And then the plan kind of formed from there. But he's the one that did the actual kill, not me. I can't kill anyone. That's why he's in trouble to begin with, because he's the one that did it. So when they say I'm a murderer, I don't identify as.
Well, you heard it straight from the horse's mouth. She said she does not identify as a unaliver. Now, the interesting part about it, and I want you guys to really take this into account and ask yourself this question. If Gypsy Rose Blanchard was not in the picture, would Dee Dee Blanchard still be alive today? And that answer is yes. Because she plotted, planned, and even showed him how to unalive her mother. and tried to deny that she had any doings with it. And he's spending life in prison, being a disabled man that was collecting a disability at the time with a low IQ, autism, and mental health issues. Meanwhile, she's out here gallivanting. Now, the differences between her and the Menendez brothers are, or a few of them are, the Menendez brothers did the crime themselves. They confessed to it. They admitted to it. They said, we did do the crime. We should be in prison for life. And they have gotten multiple college degrees while they have been in prison. They have set up groups to help with trauma and abuse victims. They have also worked with the elderly and the disabled, which to me that says they have a servant's heart. And having a servant's heart means you are caring, you are compassionate, you are kind. And that speaks to the volumes about the people or the persons they have become today. Both the Menendez brothers have been married for quite some time, and they have had stable relationships. And I actually heard that one of the Menendez brothers actually adopted his wife's daughter. So that right there should really kind of show you who he is as a person, the stability of this relationship, and the plans for a future or constantly being in their lives. Whereas Gypsy Rose used Ryan Anderson to get out of prison because he looked good on paper. He's a teacher. He has his own place. He is stable. He has a very reputable job. He teaches kids with special needs. How could a judge or a parole board say, oh no, to Ryan Anderson? It really kind of sounds like she's coming out to the right hands. Now she leaves her husband in under 5 months and gets with her ex-boyfriend from the beginning. Now I have heard, and I have some pretty damning proof, that she has actually been speaking to him before she came out of prison, and this was pretty much all a setup. Now, not only did she come out of prison and leave her husband and cheat on him, she also got pregnant by her side dude. Now, her crime was also created on the internet. Well, she started it, she plotted it on the internet, and she has internet access and she's been trolling people ever since. I think that should really tell you who you're dealing with. Now, she has also done so much and created these monsters to defend her online. And yes, I did say monsters. Whoever has a problem with it, take it up with your monster master. The Menendez brothers have not gotten out of prison yet, and we don't even really know for sure 100% if they're getting out, because really a lot of this is going to have to do with the judge and what the judge feels, and we'll have to see. But if they do get out, I think it's going to be relatively fast that it's going to happen if it's approved. I don't believe we're going to see the same behavior because, like I said, they have been doing all of what they said they would do when they get out already. So they're not waiting for it. And I'm a firm believer in actions speak far louder than words. And I feel as though their actions have shown us that they are going to do good things. Now, we know it's not 100%, and we do know that we need to, keep an eye out and see what happens. But I really don't believe they're going to reoffend or do anything, jeopardize themselves or compromise their freedom. For them to be able to maintain a marriage for these many years, I think it really speaks volumes about them. Now, I know a lot of people marry prisoners and, they stay together or whatever, but it seems as though, they have been very great examples of what inmates should be and what redemption should look like. I'm excited to see what they do when they get out. I'm speaking it into existence for them. I'm not going to say if, let's say when. And I think they're going to really show us truly what real prison reform is and what prison reform looks like. Because I don't believe that Gypsy Rose gives us a good perception of prison reform. And that also might be part of the reason why a lot of people are a little bit hesitant about the Menendez brothers getting out, because of the fact that they have not given prison reform a good look, or Gypsy Rose hasn't. So we really have to kind of pay attention to the differences between them because they're very vast. And even on the witness, on the stand when they spoke, they cried multiple times. You could see the emotion. Compare that to Gypsy. Her statements were nothing like that. She didn't have a tear to shed. Gypsy didn't give a damn. One of the main things I want to drive home is the fact that Gypsy Rose made this statement instead of taking accountability and saying, you know what, I messed up and the public took me for what I showed them. No, they are the problem. They built me up and they took me down. No, it was you that caused everyone to feel this way. And that is very, very, very important for people to know and for Gypsy Rose to know. But Gypsy Rose is too much of a narcissist to be able to even comprehend that, because taking accountability doesn't matter to her. And even up to last week, Gypsy said she really knew nothing about this case and she didn't know enough to even speak on it. Now she feels as though she can compare herself to them and say, be careful, because they're going to build you up and take you down. Do you guys not see a problem with that? That should show you guys everything you need to know. Because the fact that she felt like she could come on and say something like this and not knowing anything, because she did say that. And let's spin the block on that clip just so we can confirm that.
It's one of the biggest stories in the world right now, the Menendez brothers. Have you been following that at all, or?
Not a whole lot. I'm not very educated in their case or anything.
So they went to prison for murdering their parents, and nobody denies that they did it, but it's coming out, and it's pretty credible. A lot of people feel that they were abused by their parents. So now the DA is reviewing their case, and they're possibly going to get released. And I kind of wanted your opinion on that.
Okay, well, I mean, I really can't speak on the specifics of that case. I'm not really educated in that case. But I will say that I'm an advocate for abuse victims in general, and I'm all about prison reform.
So if that happened, though, if their parents did abuse them, I mean, do you support their release, you think?
I don't think either of us are educated enough on the subject to really agree.
Sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree with him. I think that, if their case is being reviewed, then, hopefully something can be done. I think that, abuse victims need to be advocated for more.
Yeah, Kim Kardashian actually supported that, and she defended that, and she's supporting their release. I mean, she's gotten some serious pushback. You don't think that's fair at all? And
I mean, Kim is
hard
a
to
wise
say.
woman. Kim is a wise woman.
She is.
She makes good decisions.
She is.
In her prison reform era, I think she's doing good in that era.
What advice would you have for them? Very simple. They spent 30 years in prison. What advice would you have for them when they get out? You dealt with it, obviously.
It's very difficult to come out to a world that has changed so much, even in the time that I spent. So, I mean, reacclimating is a difficult thing. So I would say take their time and, adjust properly and get therapy, because you'll need it.
Get therapy.
In our day and age.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy.
If you notice, not one time did she say when they get out or if they get out that they need to make good decisions. They need to be careful about how they do things. They need to be conscious and remember where they came from, or take any accountability of the fact that they all committed a crime, and coming out into society, you need to deal with people, the situation, and learn from your mistakes. Not one time. She said, get therapy. Now, I'm not against therapy. I think everyone needs therapy, but I think she should have taken a lot more accountability, even if she was going to say, I don't know much on this situation, but I know one thing is that you take accountability for your actions. That would have been respectable, and I think I would have looked at this, and the public would have looked at this very different. What are your thoughts? Drop down below if you think that Gypsy should be out and the Menendez brothers, or Gypsy should be in prison and the Menendez brothers out. I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you guys for watching if you're watching this far. I'm going to post my backup page on TikTok here. Just follow. Bye-bye for now.
Friend, not only did I speak about the Menendez brothers, but I actually spoke about it on TMZ.
I'm going to play a part of the segment that I was on, but you guys can watch a whole segment on TMZ.com or their app, but let's watch it.
If they get out, Eric Menendez, the younger Menendez, by the way, they're now in their 50s. Eric will move to Las Vegas and live with his wife. And I know that sounds like pretty obvious thing, but they've been married for 25 years. They were dating for, I guess, well, it's weird to say dating, but they had a relationship. Never had a conjugal visit. Yeah. But his intention is to do exactly that. We don't know what Lyle's intention is. He too is married, but we just don't know what his plan is. There is another story we broke about what's going on in the prison where they are, which is in San Diego County. Clearly, they are confident about their chances for getting out, and so are their fellow inmates. We found out that there are people other inmates who are basically putting in dibs on their belongings, that they want souvenirs from the Menendez brothers, and clearly they recognize something that is very obvious. These guys are going to be celebrities if they get out. The brass ring for all media, for news, documentaries, reality show. They are the brass ring. Everybody wants to sit down with the Menendez brothers and just have them open up.
I'm Nina from Dallas, Texas. I believe that he held them accountable and that it is political, but at the same time, I think they deserve this. I think that they will do great things and they'll show us what real advocacy is.
Yeah, we will see. If they're rehabilitated, then, if what we've heard about their lives in prison, if they continue that on the outside, then George Gascon is vindicated.
The funniest thing about this segment is when I said they will show us true advocacy, Charles said, well, we'll see. He is the same person that called out Gypsy Rose the other day. Do y'all remember that? Let's spin a block on that.
Explain things in a way that's not overwhelming, but enough to where she understands where my life was at that time.
That's Gypsy Rose Blanchard on Nick Viall's podcast, sharing how she plans to explain the heartbreaking situation with her mother to her future daughter.
Her mom is obviously not going to be around for when she gives birth to her daughter. She said it's heartbreaking.
She
Right.
arranged her mother's murder.
Charles is basically saying, after I seen Gypsy Rose come out here and act the, I don't know what to think, Bookie. He's like, we'll just see. You know what? I love that he called her out, though. I ain't even mad at him.
I'll never forget the time I went to court and this old white woman had walked up there and the judge was like, you're here for a hit and run and cause a bodily injury using a vehicle. Mind you, the woman in her 70s. So everybody in the courtroom like, what the fuck? Laughing like this shit is funny. Judge tells us to calm down and whatnot. So she come back. She goes back to the side, I guess, to get her new court date. So then they call her husband. And and the husband was like, it's not funny. It's not funny, but it's just on my mind. And the husband got charged with causing bodily injury using a kitchen knife. So he stabbed her ass and she hit him. So the man was like, are y'all going to lift the no contact order or what? So the judge was like, your wife literally hit you with a car and broke your leg. You literally stabbed your wife. No, I'm not breaking the no contact order. Tell me why that man looked at Judge dead in the eye and said, well, then where am I supposed to go? Who am I supposed to? He said, I don't care where you go. The wife speaks up where, mind you, they didn't already did her shit. The wife speaks up and say, that's my husband. I love him. The judge should take them both to jail. Now they got charged with contempt of court, and you already know they're going to violate the no contact order. I said, oh, my God. Like, what the fuck? Take them both to jail. I would never forget that shit. I think I had to be like 22, 23. I will never forget that. That shit had me rolling.
To the index of other news, Neutrogena tonight recalling makeup remover wipes due to an infection risk. Neutrogena recalling its ultra-soft cleansing towelettes in packs of 25 and 50. The FDA tonight saying the wipes may be contaminated with a bacteria that could cause serious infections, including sepsis. The recall affects 1,300 cases of these wipes shipped to Texas, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida.
I have said for years that these are terrible for your skin, period. Like, if you notice, people that use these wipes have enlarged pores. They tend to have like a lot of breakouts. They tend to have like uneven skin tone, like just issues with their skin, and or over producing oil, all that stuff. I have said for years, stay away from makeup wipes. Actually use cleansers. Like Beauty Bio has a great cleanser called The Balance. It balances the pH level in your skin. Fizz Facial Bar has the Calmer. That one's amazing too. I want to say they're about the same price. Estee Lauder has a cleansing balm that is like emollient. You put it on, it breaks down the product, and then you wet your fingertips, and then it milks up. That's a really good one. It's on the pricier side, but it's really, really good. Peach and Lily has a good ginseng or ginger. Yeah, it's a ginger cleanser. It's really good. There's so many great cleansers that it really makes no sense to be using makeup wipes when they just tear your skin up. And this is just a great example as to why you shouldn't use it. Because anytime they have to put something like this out there on the news, that should tell you everything you need to know. Like, use real skincare products to take off your makeup if you're wearing makeup. That's all I can say. All right, y'all. I was in the hospital for a day, and I don't even want to get into it, but it was a lot. But I want to know what possessed that lady to get on the internet and say that her husband hasn't worked, only for us to find out that he is a PDF. I really want to know what made her come on this here internet to do that. And now she embarrassed herself. And the lady with the toast. And now she done lost her job. And so she gonna probably need food stamps. Y'all been out here wilding while I've been sick. Y'all, I've been scrolling, but like on and off sleeping. Today is like my first day, like getting myself together. But baby, y'all been really tripping on this internet. When I seen that the lady with the toast lost her job, I cackled so hard. Child, y'all are a mess. And you know exactly who they are too.
The French crown jewels were just recently stolen. How, you ask? Well, you see, during colonization, France went to India, Brazil, and Sri Lanka. Oh, you want to know about this most recent time? My fault. This time they were stolen by 4 robbers because the Louvre, that big French museum, had a problem. Their security kind of sucked. So one robber went to his 3 robber friends. He said, y'all trying to rob the Louvre? Their security kind of sucks. The other robber said, like, Mission Impossible on them? Yeah, let's do it. The robbers then go rent this powerlifting vehicle claiming that they're movers. The person that rents out the vehicle to them finds out that they're not movers. So he said, hey, no, y'all can't rent it actually. They said, or what, little boy? The renter said, ooh, I'm calling the authorities. The renter calls the police. The police said, bonjour, parlez-vous français? He said, yes, I speak French, but I'm gonna speak English for the viewers. So these dudes came in and rented my vehicle without the proper authorization. The police said, okay, we're gonna get to it. They didn't get to it. So the robbers during broad daylight dressed as construction workers and used the lift to get to this window of the Louvre. Now, the Louvre is under construction, so they blended in. They were also wearing balaclavas or YN masks to some of us to cover their face, but they still blended in because it's been a little cold recently in France. Now, here's where things start to get wicked. Their outfits could only get them to the window. But to get through the window, they had to break the glass. That's when the alarms were gonna go off. So the robbers looked at each other and said, 3, 2, 1, break the glass and rush in. The alarms start blaring. They're running down the hallway. Security rushes out them and said, hold on. I hear y'all not in the Louvre. Robbers bring out their power tools. They said, oh, think before you leap, little boy. Security said, we thinking. We was talking to the person behind you. Hold on. Get out of these gentlemen's way. So the robbers rush over to the crown jewels and start slicing through the glass. Now, this is in broad daylight. So someone just recording them on their phone. Like, damn, these folk really robbing the place. Boom, the robbers start taking crowns, necklaces. They take off. But in their rush, they drop this crown and the crown broke. They said, we gotta go. They ran to the whip. They tried to set fire to the elevator lift of the car so there wouldn't be too much evidence. A museum worker rushes outside, said, hold on, I ain't like them security guards. You won't have to see me. The robbers said, ooh, they like that. They dropped the fire items. They rushed to their getaway car and take off. And they did all of this in 7 minutes. Police rush over. They said, 7 minutes? Security, where was y'all at? Security said, man, this job ain't about to kill me. How'd they get the electric vehicle? Police said, all right, touche. And well, the robbery is currently under investigation. The jewels were considered priceless, but they decided to put a price on them, and it turns out it was about $100 million in jewelry. Now, the crazy part is there's been like 5 other heists in museums around France for like the past year. So people are thinking that this is the same crew doing all these heists, or one crew is doing some heists and another crew is saying, yo, that looks easy, let's do a heist. And the cycle continues. Either way, they're getting robbed out there.
You know what? Bad Bunny winning the best artist of the 21st century isn't just about him. It's about every single artist that was told their language, their culture, or their sound was too niche. This is history that sounds like home.
He took Puerto Rico to the Grammys, Spanish to the Super Bowl, and pride to every stage that tried to make him feel like he needed to shrink. He didn't just make music, he made a movement. Every beat said, I belong here. And you know what I love most? He never switched up. No fake accent, no apology for being him, for being authentic. He showed the world that success doesn't require translation, just the truth. And that's real power. So yeah, this award says Artist of the Century, but really it means Latin culture runs the century. And for once, the whole world had to stand up and clap for it. Bad Bunny didn't just win for himself. He won for every artist that was told they had to tone it down. And baby, he's only getting louder.